Okay, so there's this fun thing where Facebook takes a second to tell us we're live, but we're live in Zoom. So there's always this blah, 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 blah. So hi, Brendan, how are you going? All right, I'm going to assume we're live. Welcome everyone to the Facebook Live in April of 2021 with Brendan Gibson from Anspired. I'm really excited about this conversation. Brendan's got heaps to share. But before we jump into that, if you are watching the replay, put hashtag replay. If you're here live, feel free to ask questions, put in comments. We're happy to answer what we can. Now, Brendan, tell us a bit about who you are, your business, what you do, and yeah, all the juicy information.
Yeah, cool. I'm Brendan, obviously. I run an IT company called Anspired. So we have a real focus on protecting businesses. So think of us as an outsourced IT provider. So their IT problems, they can call us, get it fixed, but we have a real focus on protection, given all the cybersecurity.
Such a big problem.
Massive problem. So we look at it, I guess, as a layered approach. Yeah, we really enjoy doing that and protecting people, and even doing fake emails to our clients to see who's leaking information out of their organization they shouldn't be, and then having a conversation about that and just empowering them and training them. So yeah, that's what I do.
What a great idea just on that. And the reason why I'm so excited to have you here is that mainly when it comes to Profit First professionals, it's accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches, and you're in the IT industry. So how did you learn about Profit First, and why did you become a Profit First professional?
Yeah, great question. And hopefully this doesn't answer too many of your questions, Laura. But so it was 2019, and sat down with the accountant and said, some scary numbers here. My balance sheet had a net equity on it of negative, over negative 150 grand on it. I think at the time the profit and loss statement was showing negative 30, like a 30 grand loss as well. And it made me think, what am I doing? Like working my guts out. And it just feels like maybe I could go work somewhere else. It just was too hard. And I'd been doing it. So I started Answers IT back in 2007. And yeah, so hitting 2019 was like a kick in the guts, basically. So, and anyone watching today, I'm sure there's people that have been through those moments where they've worked really hard, and then like, yeah, where is it? So I remember talking to a friend of mine, and he sort of said, hey, you should read this book called Profit First. And it's kind of funny because he actually hadn't read it himself. He just heard it was a good book.
That's awesome.
So I won't mention his name to protect him, but anyway, so I read this book, and it was just like, whoa, this is me. Like, it's literally talking about me, someone sitting down with their accountant. Where's the money? It's not there. And I read this book, and I was like, yeah, I felt empowered and excited and enthusiastic about my business again. And so for me, it was just, right, I want to implement this, and I want to make a change. So I immediately, and look, Profit First is all about small plates, okay? Because if we look at like a tube of toothpaste, right? For example, we have a tube of toothpaste. What do we do when we get a nice fresh tube of toothpaste? We will usually have a bigger chunk, but when we get to the bottom, we're just squeezing the little bit out of it. And the book actually talks about this, so it encourages us to do small plates, and to essentially money comes in to your bank account, and rather having that one big bank account, which we will consume what we have, like I did, I was taking more out of the business than it was making. And then we have small plates, so small bank accounts that become big bank accounts as as we put different percentages into those bank accounts in a routine. So yeah, I started doing that, and I sort of said from 1st of July 2019, I was not going to make a loss in my business. So yeah, and I was so excited that I actually reached out to a good friend of mine, and I said, look, you've got to read this book. And he said, I have read this book. I said, well, why haven't you implemented it?
Mm-hmm.
And we sat there in a hotel room working it out, and we ended up being accountable to each other. He was my accountability, I was his accountability. We challenged each other, we encouraged each other, and our bank accounts started to grow. Our businesses started to just flourish. That's a quick, I could keep going, I've got heaps on that.
I do have a couple of questions around that though for you. So when you said that your business improved, what were some of the, I guess, the biggest challenges that you were facing at the time, and what were the first things that you noticed that started to improve?
So I think as business owners, we are generally putting out fires here, there, and everywhere, and we don't feel like we've got a good foundational basis, like a system in place to do something. And so I like systems. Most of us like systems, especially when they are rewarding us. And, like we love our loyalty programs, don't we?
Absolutely.
When you go buy your Boost juice and you get your free Boost after 5 or whatever. I have no affiliation with Boost, just FYI. but yeah, it was the system. And so, like, practically speaking, I could see the improvement straight away. So it made me review my costs. What am I spending? Where is money leaking out of the business? Stop spending money on takeout or whatever that you don't actually have. And so it allowed me to look at my business, find out where there was issues, and then it gave me those percentages that I referred to. And so what would happen is, on a Monday, on payroll day, every fortnight, I would whatever money was in my main bank account, I would transfer different amounts to different bank accounts based on the analysis that had been done. One of those accounts is called Profit. That's right, a bank account called Profit that I started like with just 1% going in there. Whatever on that fortnight, I would transfer 1% to that bank account. And so that builds, and it's like a snowball. Snowball picks up more and more and more and more. Well, that's what happened. And so I started seeing that, and I started seeing other bank accounts improve, and there was a system, and I'm going, well, hang on, I don't have enough money in that account to pay my salary or my the operating expenses of the business. The percentage is probably wrong. And so I needed to reflect on that and look at that. So it just made me look at making fact-based decisions, not just feeling. And when you are under fire, you don't make sound decisions a lot of the time. Not
at all. We're definitely not rational. That's awesome. And so did it work straight away for you?
Yeah. So yes, it did. Completely honest with you, I did the opposite of what Mike said in his book. He said, do not allocate more than 1% to the profit account in your things. Otherwise, you might find it doesn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. And I ended up having to cut that right back and strip it back to 1%. But in terms of, yes, it did work. And I had the accountability with my mate, and we could see how both our businesses were improving as well. So that was really exciting. But we also found that every quarter, the book suggests that whatever you have in that profit account, you take 50% as a distribution as an owner of the business. So I took 50% of it, and then 1% of that 50%, hopefully I haven't lost anyone there. So take 50%, 1% of that 50%, you reward yourself. You take the misses out, or and I think I think we bought a coffee, I think was our first one. So yes, it worked. We got a coffee. And
That's
the money was
amazing.
there. The money was there.
Yeah.
And I think it was only a few months ago we got to have a night away, So to answer your question, yes. So yeah, but I did notice it. I would say for anyone watching, that it took 3 months to really settle things down, find out that you owed this much debt here, and you had to get on top of your finances and understand that. And it was just such a simple process to follow. And I actually found, by talking to a lot of people, a lot of business owners actually don't understand their numbers.
No.
And I was one of them. So it's really made me invested and passionate to always know this, because otherwise you're blindsided.
Absolutely. So on the numbers thing, you said that you didn't understand your numbers, and I'm assuming now you do. Would you share with those that are either watching live or watching the replay what your numbers were saying and what they're saying now in terms of profitability and all of that?
Sure. Well, I'll answer that in two ways. So in 2019, we had a revenue, I think, of $1.6 million. And after all the end of year accounts had sorted out, I think it was $1,000 profit for the entire year.
Wow.
After 6 months, I think it was 6 months, or I've actually got the numbers here. 6 months. I think after 8 months, yeah. So I actually had to personally put money in, because I told you that my net equity was 150K negative. By April 2020, I had repaid the debt, the net equity, the negative net equity. So it had gone the other way. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And our profit distribution in a quarterly basis was so actual cash, right? Because people, just on that, people look at their P&L and they go, oh, I made 50 grand or 100 grand or whatever the number is. Show me the money. Like, where's the cash in bank? And so that's what really hit me as well with the book. It said, having this account called profit, you can actually see there's actual cash in bank. So I went from, and I told you I overdrew. I took too much money in the profit the first quarter. So every quarter, the first quarter, there was 30 grand in the profit account. Like I said, I took too much money. So, but then there was 5,000, 7,000, 12,000, 23,000, $35,000. So every quarter, 50% of that. And here's the thing that I know I've shared with you before, Laura, but I think just even remembering it now is really awesome. So I think our revenue was at 1.6 mil in 2019 with the loss that we had. The 2020 numbers was actually less revenue than, so I actually did, 2019 was 1.8 million. 2020 was 1.6 million in revenue. But I had a $241,000 net profit on the bottom line. Wow. Yeah. So
what a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's quite a difference. And then in 2021, we'd already on track for record numbers again. So less revenue, more profit, right? Don't we all want that? And so I realized it made me think about the clients we work with. It made me think about the costs that we're spending. It made me think about all of those things. And like I said, fact-based decisions. And the really exciting thing is that accountability partner is now my business partner. We merged our businesses together to become Anspired. And what we realized, he nagged a bit. I hope he's watching this, but he nagged a bit. We should merge. We should do this together. And I said, no, I'm pretty cool. I don't want to have a business partner. And then when we looked at in that accountability meeting, what are the challenges that you're having on a fortnight? What are the wins that you're having on a fortnight? And what are the action items? We actually found that his challenges and my challenges were actually our win. Like, we actually complemented each other.
Yeah. Awesome. That
So
doesn't
we
happen very
merged.
often.
No, no, but yeah. So it's been awesome. So Leon and I started Anspired on the 1st of February. And his business also had such a great turnaround in terms of an improvement, and so it's given us a great foundation of profit first in the new business as well. And yeah, making fact-based decisions, and I guess that gave me that extra peace of mind as well, having that we were on the same page there with our finances. So yeah. So I've just shared
amazing.
my story. That's basically.
I do have another question for you, because I'm full of questions. As you know, this is the theme, not just for Facebook Lives. Hey, Brendan. I'm always asking questions. So just because this is a slightly different way of dealing with Profit First, is that when you merged, you didn't have historical information as one business. True. Yeah. You did have separate historical information, but you had to somehow merge that and create Profit First percentages. Can you tell us, not necessarily what the percentages were or are, but what was the process for you? Because there was a little bit of resistance initially, and you weren't quite sure whether it would work or not. So I'd love to kind of delve a little bit into that, if possible.
Yeah, sure. Well, I became a Profit First professional because of this, like the passion and excitement and wanting to help other people with that as well. But what I did for these two companies, for our two companies, so I looked at 3 months of trading data in Answers IT, and I did 3 months in Leon's business. Mm-hmm. And then what I did is I combined the numbers and worked out the percentages. Now, I actually ran those numbers. I actually got them checked out with a couple of people, but one of them is my accountant. We worked backwards, and I remember him challenging. He said, "Oh, I think you're 1% lower. You should be 1% higher on the tax or something like that." And I said, "No, I think it's right. I think we'll be okay." Anyway, so we've now been trading for, since February, mm-hmm. And the numbers are pretty bang on. And so what that process that really helped is the Profit First assessment. So same thing that I did, and if people watching haven't done this and they're sort of new to looking at this, or they're feeling struggled or overwhelmed, the best thing you can do is get a Profit First assessment done on your business as it is, to see what those percentages are. Mm-hmm. So we can see that we're spending too much on salary, like on this or that, and you can work out what needs to change. And so that's what we did as well. But because we'd had that foundation of 18 months of keeping each other accountable, our numbers were good. But what does the new numbers going to look like as mm-hmm. we merge? And so, yeah, that's where the Profit First assessment really came in helpful.
That's awesome. And I think
that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. And the key thing as well for those of you watching, I would say, is that a lot of people see finance as reactive, which it is when it comes to compliance and that sort of stuff. But Profit First is so proactive. And Brendan's just given a perfect example of how, yes, you have to do an assessment. Yes, you need to realize what's going to happen, but there were assumptions made as well when you looked at the percentages and that sort of thing. And I believe it's because you felt comfortable doing so because you're trained as a Profit First professional, but also once you make these assumptions, you can then implement that, and you're not stuck with it. It evolves with you. Yes, you got it almost spot on, but even if you hadn't, you can fix that and navigate to where you need to be over a period of time as well. Yeah.
And look, I guess a challenge that I found I was a bit apprehensive about is there's going to be a lot of costs as you merge two businesses together, mm-hmm. a lot of the costs of legals and all that sort of thing. So that was what was like, we accounted for this amount of money. And like you said, Laura, you could increase the percentage of, say, operating expenses by 1% for a said time, it might mm-hmm. be 2 months, 3 months. then bring that back down to once it's equalized out. So,
and I think that's the key. What happens with a lot of people is that they keep changing their percentages over a period of time. And so you're not actually implementing profit first. You're still stealing from one account to make it work or that sort of thing. So yes, you can absolutely tweak the percentages, but it's short term and there's a purpose for it. And then you have to bring it back to that percentage. So thank you so much for sharing that. The next question is, how has this changed your outlook on what you think about money and your business now?
I question a lot more. So is it going to be better for my business? Is it going to be faster for my business? And is it going to be more value for our business? And value is not necessarily, it can be for what it delivers our client and what it delivers for us internally as well. But I question a lot more. I probably say no more than I used to.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I say no to myself, I think, is the other thing, because I think when the money's there, it's easy to take. But the other thing, and not to brag or anything, but the other thing is I actually gave, as part of that journey, I actually gave myself a salary increase as well.
That's awesome.
During that process, and paying myself the right rate, because if I had to replace myself, and I think that happens a lot in business, I've seen it so many times, they are going, oh, I'm on this wage. Okay, right now, if you weren't in the business, how much would that salary be to have that position? And most of the time they're underpaying themselves, they are working themselves ragged. So yeah, how does it change me in money? Yeah, it's made me more controlled, and I feel empowered, and I look forward to every fortnight. I look forward. Laura, you probably disagree, but I actually do the transfers still because I actually enjoy it.
I do my transfers too. I love it.
So that's the thing I still do, and I do the transfers. I can see it, and it's a good guide as well, right? So if you have every fortnight you've got 50 grand in that account, in the revenue account that's coming in, and then you notice all of a sudden every fortnight now it's 20 grand. Well, hang on, something's not right. Or if it increases, oh, that's cool. So it gives you a bit of, you're kind of preventing things going south
really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that it tells you a story as you're moving your money around. You're doing what you were doing anyway, which was bank balance accounting at the very beginning. When you have that one account and you're like, oh yeah, there's funds in there, and so you spend it, and then it's like, no, there's no funds in there, and so you can't. It's a similar thing now, except there's a purpose for each account, and you can kind of go, oh, that's different to what has been happening, and let me look at that. And it's often caught so much faster than if you were relying on reports. So thank you for bringing that up. That absolutely was a huge game changer for a lot of people that implement profit first. To basically finish up, I would love for you to give one piece of advice to business owners that may be, contemplating or considering implementing profit first. What would your piece of advice be?
Well, I hope you've read the book. Read the book ASAP, or listen to the audiobook. I think you could definitely do it yourself, but I think it's a lot easier if you can engage with a profit first professional. I think that, we get trained, we go through so much experiences and knowledge sharing, and it's better to have someone who can help guide you through that. But you can do it yourself, but it'd be better to have a profit first professional do that with you. And Laura did not ask me to say that. I will tell you that right now. But I think that could definitely help, because the instant assessment is where a lot of people can get unstuck. They don't understand how to read certain things, and they doubt themselves. You second guess. I've done it myself. And I know, Laura, you've had to bail me out a couple of times. I'm like, and you second guess every calculation you do. And so it's those experiences where that kind of a profit first professional can really add value. I would be patient when you do it. Okay. And so I'd take, like I said, take a couple months to see the fruits. You will see fruits from day one, but you'll see more fruit and the snowball effect as you be patient. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen.
Awesome.
That's kind of probably yeah. And I would say the third thing would be look forward to the distribution, look forward to your reward, look forward to having fun and celebrating with the people that you love, the people who you value in your life, because you just never know what could happen. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brendan. And what we'll do is we'll go through any comments that are there. It also gets sent out to our lists and that sort of stuff. So how can people find you? Where's the best place to find you? And if they want to maybe delve a bit deeper into your Profit First journey, as well as, potentially work with you, what's the best way to do that?
The Profit First professional Australian website, and you can go find a PFP, and you'll find me there, as well as the other awesome heaps on there. So and I'm more than happy to have a chat with anyone to go through it.
Amazing. We'll pop that link in down below this and send it out via email as well. Thank you so much, Brendan, for your time. This has been such an amazing insight for people, and thank you for being so open and honest with your numbers, because this is a public forum and it's so appreciated. And I really think you've made it so clear what kind of differences can be made by implementing Profit First. So yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you all next time. Thank you.